Do you ever wake up and feel like you're just going through the motions? Well, I know exactly where you're coming from because that was me a couple weeks ago. I had the same exact routine, the same exact excuses. Funny thing is, I wasn't out of shape, but I knew that I wasn't pushing myself. I was just kind of drifting. So I made a decision, a real decision, that I'm gonna keep my word on. And I gave myself 90 days to lock in mentally and physically. And today I'm gonna be going over some of the habit changes that have completely changed my life in the past few weeks, and hopefully you can change yours. Let's get into it. All right, so why I really started the 90-day challenge. And honestly, at first it was just a classic fitness goal, right? I wanted to look leaner, I wanted to get bigger. But the truth is, I started this because I got tired of doing things the average way, you know? And what I mean by that is that I was constantly, going to sleep at random times, didn't have a schedule. I was randomly going maybe 3 times to the gym, sometimes even two. I wasn't really even lifting weights. I was doing more MMA styles training. And also, my diet looked pretty bad. Like, I was just eating whatever I wanted, didn't really maintain a specific diet. And to be fair with you guys, the truth is that I got tired of saying, I'll start next week. I got tired of putting off my ideas and watching other people build upon their ideas while I sat on mine. So one of those ideas that I was actually putting off was doing YouTube. I wanted to post for years, and I'm not talking about like random content, but like just real content, real like self improvement stuff about my journey. Kind of like record and document my quote unquote like hero's journey, right? And I've been putting that off for years. So the way I've pretty much forced myself to upload videos is by starting this challenge, right? Because I'm documenting this whole 90-day process from where I started to where I'm ending up. And this challenge has essentially forced me to upload videos um, and get comfortable with that process. So that's really the real reason. Like, obviously there's the fitness goal. On top of that, I want to get jacked, I want to get bigger, but the real reason was because of that, because I wanted to upload videos. So right now I'm in day 54 out of 90, and I want to go over a few things that have changed. The reason why I'm doing this, besides what I just mentioned, and then as well as what I've learned throughout the whole process, and then also maybe even go over some actions that I want you guys to take. So the simple habit changes that I'm making are based on three things. One is going to be sleep, two is going to be diet, and then three is just going to be consistency with my training. So when it comes to sleep, like I've mentioned, like I mentioned earlier, basically I didn't have a schedule. I would just go to sleep at random times. I didn't really take it serious. I used to think of sleep as like a almost like an afterthought. But now it's actually a priority. Like, I wake up at a specific time and I go to sleep at a very specific time. That time is usually between 9 to 10 p.m. And then I try to wake up between like 5 to 6 p.m. or sorry, a.m. And the reason why I wake up that early is because I do have a morning routine and I want to get stuff done in the morning. So like literally I do, a lot of my schoolwork in the morning. So I wake up, between 5 to 6, stay there for like a good 4 hours. And then when I'm done, I just go to the gym and do whatever I got to do throughout my day. So yeah, if you're not waking up early and you're not, you're sleeping at random times, I promise you implement a schedule, specific time for when you go to sleep and when you wake up, and that's going to improve, again, not just your sleep, but you're going to get deeper sleep, like way better sleep, and you're also gonna adjust your circadian rhythm, which is also going to help you get deeper sleep as well. So number two is going to be diet. And with diet, I didn't want to get too complicated with it. I know a lot of people track their calories, and I know if you're not tracking, you're slacking. But in my case, I'm a simple guy. I like to keep things very simple, just because I don't want to, occupy a bunch of mental space for the things that I do, for at least things that I don't think are super efficient. So what I do is I just simply stick to a low carb, high protein diet. That's where I just eat a small amount of carbs and then a lot of meat, protein, whatever there is for protein. I just eat a lot of that. Okay, try to get full with that. Obviously, there's a limit to that, but you get where I'm coming from. Something that I will say that I've seen some changes with it. Like, ever since I've been sticking to that diet, I feel a lot more energized. Definitely look a lot leaner than when I started. I want to say a lot leaner, but definitely leaner. um, and also it's an easy to maintain diet. Like, it's really not that hard to stick to, because when you're trying to lose weight, a lot of people stick to these like super strict diet. With this diet, it's not super strict because you're still eating carbs. You're not getting rid of carbs. It's just you're eating a lower amount of it. And then number three is going to be the training, because for the past few years, I've been pretty consistent with it. I would go at random times. Same thing with my sleep, right? It would be at random times. There would be weeks where I wouldn't go. Maybe I would go like twice a week max. And then I was doing a lot of for the past like 8 months around there. I did sign up for an MMA gym, so I was doing a lot of cardio, very little lifting weights, and so I felt like I lost a lot of my muscle because of that. So realistically, the change that I'm making is simple. Like I'm just essentially going 5 times a week. I'm committing myself to that. I'm holding myself accountable by posting these videos, and uploading them online, because I'm essentially making a public statement that, hey, I'm gonna do this. So that's how me actually stick to that routine of going 5 times a week. So I was sticking to a pretty basic workout routine, which was chest and back, leg day, shoulders and arms, chest and back, leg day. That's it. That's kind of what I stick through for the first couple, like I think it was like first 45 days around there, and then I switched it up a little bit. Now what I'm doing is I'm doing a workout split more focused on calisthenics. The reason behind that is because I felt like I wasn't I felt like I was like my body was getting tight. After doing MMA for 8 months, pretty much, there was a lot of stretching. There was a lot of movements where it was a lot of like functional movements, right? So I felt really good during that period of time, because I felt very flexible in a way, even though I wasn't super super flexible. I was definitely more flexible than I was before I started. So, and I like that way of feeling. And when I started lifting heavy with a lot of volume, I noticed that my body got really tight. So I wanted to do something more functional, something that I think keeps the functionality of the body, of the human body. And I think calisthenics does just that, right? So, and honestly, I've seen a lot of guys do calisthenics, and they look crazy. Like they're pretty shredded, pretty lean, and super strong as well. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on now. More calisthenic workout. If you guys want to know that, it's basically I just do 9 sets of pull-ups, between like 6 to 8 reps, and then 9 sets of dips, 6 to 8 reps as well. And then after I'm done with that, I just go into either do arms, or I focus on my shoulders as well, one of those two things. And then obviously I implement leg days, 2 leg days a week as well on top of that. And number four, it's gonna be actually content. So I'm gonna start uploading content. I'm gonna try to be more committed to this and more consistent with this, because before, honestly, I've been wanting to do this for years, and really what was holding me back is it was myself. It was all in here. So I'm gonna try to be more consistent with the content. I'm also documenting the whole Dowding series. If you want to check that out, my shorts. Pretty much that's where I've been documenting the whole process, where I try to upload a video a day, a short video a day, where I share some of the habits changes that I'm making throughout the process. Also, I provide some physique updates, so you guys can keep track of that as well. I want to talk about my why. So the reason why I'm doing it is not to impress anyone. It's not to gather attention. It's really more about me. It's a challenge with me versus me, right? So and so the reason behind that is because for years I've been pretty like average with the things that I do, in terms of like go to the gym, like keeping fake promises to myself. Like I would set a goal and not actually accomplish it. So with this, I'm almost like building trust. I'm building confidence within myself, because I'm gonna stick through this, and I'm posting it online because I want to hold myself accountable publicly, right? I want to make a public statement that, hey, I'm doing this. And like if you guys have ever been through that, where you say you're gonna do something and you don't do it, it feels horrible. Like deep inside of you, you understand that it feels horrible, and it wrecks your self esteem. It wrecks your self worth, your honor. Basically, if you're a man, you want to be a man of honor. You want to be a man of your word, someone who follows through with their word. So that's basically what I'm training myself to do with this challenge. Because if you guys ever struggle with confidence, you're going to learn that the confidence is not something you can make up. It's something that you actually want to train. You want to train yourself. It's not just like talking yourself into being confident. You want to train yourself by keeping your word, being a man of honor, being a man of your word. And eventually, once you accomplish those things that you mentioned you're going to do, you're going to build up that trust within yourself. And building trust within yourself basically increases your confidence, if that makes sense. Because when the cameras are off, when the phone is off, it's you against you. So confidence comes down to those moments where you're alone with yourself. You're not behind any cameras. You're not talking to anybody. You're alone with yourself. And if you're able to keep that word, then then you're building up your confidence. You're building that trust within yourself. Okay, so the next thing I want to go over is what I've learned so far because I have been doing it for 54 days, like I mentioned. First of all, I want to start it off by saying, like, it's honestly, it kind of sucks being super strict with everything. It makes things feel like a task, feel like a job more than anything. The reason why I'm sticking to it is because I already, again, I said that I'm gonna stick to it, so I'm gonna stick to it. But it does suck kind of like being super strict with everything just because it doesn't feel like you're doing it for fun anymore. It feels more like you're doing it as a task, as something that you're forced to do. And I don't, me personally, I don't like to feel that way. But some of the healthy changes that I've made have tremendously improved my life. So first things first is going to be sleep. Again, I'm sleeping on a schedule. I think that's had the biggest impact on that. That's definitely had the biggest impact when it comes to the habit changes that I've made because one, I feel way more energetic. I feel like I'm getting way better sleep, and I'm actually waking up at a consistent time. Sometimes I wake up without an alarm, just because I've set up my circadian rhythm to wake up at a specific time, and that's helped me so much get just being more productive, feeling better throughout the day, feeling more high energy. So yeah, sleep has definitely been a huge one. Eating that low carb, high protein diet has tremendously changed my life so far as well because I'm able to have more energy throughout the day. I don't get that fogginess, that brain fogginess. So I feel like I'm always getting things done. I'm always super high energetic because, again, I'm not eating a bunch of carbs. I'm not getting super bloated after eating. So yeah, make that change yourself and you'll see the improvement for sure. And something that I want to say, if you guys want to commit yourself to something and keep your word, I think doing something like this where you publicly state that you're going to do something, that's going to hold you accountable in those times that you don't want to actually do the thing. Right. So for example, there's been days where I didn't want to go to the gym, but I know I put a public statement out there that, hey, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna look better. I'm gonna get in better shape. I'm gonna get more muscle. I'm gonna look leaner. And because I made that statement, it forces me to, keep my word and actually go to the gym. So yeah, if you're struggling with consistency or committing yourself to a specific task, I think putting it out there in the world that you're going to commit to yourself to this, it's going to hold you accountable. Not by, not necessarily yourself. You're not necessarily holding yourself accountable, but you're almost like held accountable by other people. And honestly, the biggest thing that I've learned so far is that fuck your plans. Like what I mean by that is like you don't have to plan out everything that you want to do in life. I think you just gotta do it. Just do it, like Nike says. Like Nike says. Because I always get stuck in that cycle of like planning things out and then never take action. So wait for you to actually do the thing. It's just like once you think of something that you want to do, just freaking do it. Don't hold back. And then as you go, you're start figuring out your plan. So lastly is I want to ask you a question. Do you have balls? I want you to do something. Take your right hand, put it, where your crotch is, and feel there. Do you have balls there? If so, I want you to stick to this challenge. I want you to give yourself 90 days, and I want you to document it as well. Make yourself a promise and make a public statement that you're going to commit to your gym, to your sleep, and to your diet, and that you're going to get in the best shape of your life. Take a picture of what you look like right now and document the whole process. And then 90 days from now, you're going to see the difference. Like if you've been stuck, if you feel like you're stuck and you're tired of being average, of looking average, this is your sign. Like, do the thing that you want to do, make a public statement about it, document the process. Doesn't matter if you're not perfect, just do the thing. You figure it out along the way. That's something that I've learned throughout this whole challenge. Like, don't wait to be ready, just do it. So if you have some balls and you want to get in the best shape of your life, you want to look better, do this 90-day challenge and document it. Do something like I did where I started this channel and I'm actually documenting the whole dieting series. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, dislike, whatever it is. Peace out.